Okay, so let's see where we are for tonight. Last time we fixed some bugs pertaining to the map and cursor mechanics, and we wanted to introduce the concept of units. We wanted to associate unit initialization points with maps, and then we wanted to start working on unit movement and animations. Before I get into that, though, I think I want to revisit some of the map work and allows us and create a mechanism that allows us to start the camera or cursor at arbitrary positions when a map is loaded in, because right now I think it always starts at cell 00. So I guess let's start there. Actually, first let's just run through the game and make sure it didn't burn down overnight or something. Last night we made these bugs and fixed the issue whereby the cursor wouldn't scroll beyond the bottom edge of the initial screen that loaded, so that appears to have not burned down. Cool, that all seems fine. Okay, so I guess let's start with the map cursor initialization. So it looks like we start at 00 for the cursor and camera both, and the reason it's kind of jittering is because of the key cord I use to transition among maps. It's also moves the cursor, but we're loading it at 00, so we want to make that configurable. And I think if we just set that value, it'll be respected by the game loop automatically, given how the architecture is configured, but we'll find out. So this is where we're initializing our maps, and for the time being we'll just keep them all in a blob here, but I think as the game gets more sophisticated, probably even in the relative near term, we're going to want to break the initialization of this game maps object out across a couple of files, just for the sake of keeping the code clean, but we don't care about that right now. I think we just change these values right here. I think that's it. Let's test this in a hack kind of way. Yeah, okay. Or, whoa. That's weird. Oh, no, it's not. I did a dumb thing. There are... I'm pretty sure there are... that our tiles are 8 pixels wide. And I did that because in the map, a tile is 8 pixels wide, or 8 squared pixels. And that's just the way Pico is. So that's what I did there. So this should be... that should be right, I think. We're on tile 5.5 and pixel 4040. Yeah, I think that's all we got to do. Okay, so that's going to be pretty straightforward. So let's see. We need this. I have a formatter, Lua format, that runs in the Docker file when I run make, and currently it's inlining this, but eventually I want to break that out. I think. Let's try that. And then we don't actually want to run these values for real, but they're fine for debugging. Can't tell if that's working right or not. That should more visibly spawn in different locations. Let's see what that does. I think the logic that allows the cursor to wobble within the bounds of the camera is confusing this a little bit, but we're pretty close. So we want to start at 2017 from this map. This is stupid, but the other thing that makes this difficult, again, to kind of diagnose here is that my debug keycord is interfering with. It's actually moving the cursor. And also now I'm realizing we might actually want to move the camera. I think we do want to move the camera independently of the cursor position, or we at least want to have that capability. So I don't want to do what I'm doing. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do that. So on the first map, we want to start at, we'd want the camera to start at 0, 0. On the second map, we'd want the camera to start at 0, 16, I think, which would be the bottom on the left. Well, there is no horizontal map 2, so it would just be at the bottom, whatever. And then on map 3, I think it's 16, 16. Except we're 0 indexed, so it's 15, and then this guy is actually 2 wide, so it's like 30, 30. Maybe. I might be confusing myself. Let's see what this does. Oh, and we need to move the cursor. Oh, and the camera, right. Okay, so the camera should be at 16, 16 because the screen is 15 wide and we're tracking the position on the edge. So really the camera, let's do 16, 16, but I think it's actually like, well, no, yeah, okay, 16, 16, I guess. Yeah, maybe. And now I just need to move the cursor. So let's say the cursor, let's say we start, I don't know, here. So let's put the cursor at 128 on map 2. Because we were just out of bounds, and that's fine. And then let's pick a spot for 3. Let's say we want to start on map 3 at 2830. Okay, great. That works. Let me run the linter because I think I might break those long lines up. Look at our diff, and it formatted that for us. That's nice. The other thing we could consider doing would be organize these properties a little bit such that instead of cell x, cell y, it was cell.x, cell.y. That might be cleaner, but it might also be a premature optimization. I don't know. Kind of a tough call. It might also just be inconsistent with conventions established elsewhere, and I don't want to do that. And then, like I was saying a moment ago, we'll probably want to split these map definitions out into different files eventually, but again, we probably don't care about that now. So let's see. I just want to see how commonly I'm using yeah, I don't feel like doing that now. I might refactor this to be a bit more structured in the future, but I'm not going to do that now. So let's commit this. And now I guess we're working on sprite stuff, or unit stuff, I guess, really. I suppose the first thing to do I should just go remove the meaningless flag that I have on the first map, because we're probably just going to use that as our stand-in for any and all unit until the game becomes more sophisticated. Right now, I just want to understand how to actually even use the Pico 8 Sprite API at all, because I've never used it. So let's go rip out the that sprite really quick. I don't even know. I guess it's got to be on the map, right? I don't even know how to do that, actually. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I don't even know if I need to program this. I might just be able to... I probably want to program this. I might be able to do this such that I just actually plot the enemies or the units directly in the editor, but I don't know if I like that idea. Yeah, okay. So it's in the battle screen. That's where I'm drawing that guy in, I think. Okay, so that got rid of our sprite. So I guess that's another part of the map load, is the loading in of units. So I suppose that's the function where we want to drop that in. And I guess we want to drop, I guess we want to drop in both red and blue units and iterate over some list of coordinates for placing enemies. I think for the time being, given that I don't really have a full plan yet for how the sprites and items are going to work, I think we're just going to drop in, we're just going to represent units as a coordinate pair only. I guess coordinate pair and a sprite ID. But in the future, that'll become something much more interesting, I guess. There's a question here of how to set, of how to record the unit information, because we want to make it such that it's, well, I'm not sure what we want to do. The way we structure this has implications for how the units will be identified, like when you click on them or whatever. I don't know if I'm ready to think about that right now, though, so I think let's just do something naive and probably refactor later. The only thing we know we have for sure are player units and enemy units, and given our roadmap here, let's call these just player 1 and player 2 units, because initially this will probably only be a 2-player game, because it's going to be a lot easier, at least in the short term, to make a 2-player game rather than a 1-player game with, you know, AI or whatever. Though I'm actually really looking forward to doing the AI. I think that's probably going to be the most entertaining part of the whole project. But for right now, let's just do the obvious thing here. which I think is something like this. And let's just, for the sake of keeping this easy, let's just place 3 units at more or less arbitrary coordinates, I guess. We'll do something like this. And I think 8, what is this? Let me look at that API method, that SPR thing. So this method we commented out, SPR accepts 3 arguments, and it's n, x, y, whereby n is the sprite number. And then the x and y coordinates, obviously, and tiles. No, in pixels. Okay. So our little cursor guy was 5, and here, let's just do this. That's the simplest thing I know how to do. Let's do that. That's, of course, nonsense from a, like, game perspective, but we don't care about sensible unit arrangements right now. This is just work out the logic of the unit placement. I think this is how I want to do this. Also, I'm brand new to Lua, so I'm going to struggle with even the basic concepts here of looping, etc. Well, I'm not new to programming, but I am new to Lua. Maybe it looks like this. That would make some sense. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems like maybe it could be. So let's see what that did. Yeah, okay. Oh, I think maybe Lua has some pairs method or something. I think I've seen that before. Let's try the old copy paste from Stack Overflow here. See what that does for us. It doesn't crash, but it doesn't do anything. We also don't know what kind of debugging mechanisms we have in Lua, but let's just try our luck with this. Oh no. This may not be the place to do this. Because I'm probably... Yeah, I'm going to be painting over this every pass of the game loop. So... we need like game.units.draw or something. Yeah, this isn't correct. And I don't think we have a game units file yet. We have a unit. Let's not overthink this, and let's just units.lua for now. Yeah, that's right. I haven't looked at this in a little while, but I think if I remember right, the game loop has like different screens it loads in, and each screen has its own little sub loops that correspond with like the update and draw events in the main game loop, and I'm just plugging those in. So yeah, I want in the screen battle loop, we need a game.units.draw. And we'll pattern it after maps draw. And just to start as simple as we can, let's just put that guy back. So this should always draw that sprite 5 at coordinates 8, 8. On every pass through the loop, I think that's what we're doing. And of course that's not what we want, but that's our kind of minimal test case here. Oh, yeah, and I need to make the actual game object aware of that new file we created. That should be fine. I'm not in love with how I have this whole thing architected. I'm using global variables, and while I think that's common in the Pico world, I just don't like it. So we'll probably try to refactor that later, but again, I'm brand new to both Pico and Lua, so that'll probably be a future refactoring. Not something I'm going to worry about right now. I'm probably doing this a stupid way too, because I'm just trying to package this as a namespace. I don't even want a struct here, but again, who cares? We'll sort that out as we actually learn how Lua works. Okay, so now we're drawing our unit, and let's draw 2 units. Okay, so we're doing it. So now we have a method in our game loop that draws our units, and it draws units on top of the cursor, which is, I'm pretty sure, what we want. And if we want to change it around, we just change the order in which methods are called. So now from in there, now we want to iterate over the unit positions in the map object. And then later on, moving the units will just be a matter of changing those coordinates and somehow also setting a flag for when you're animating the movement. I don't know how that will work immediately. But anyway, let's see the old Stack Overflow copy paste again here. Because my guess is that this loop is correct. We just had it in the wrong spot. And this now is game. I forgot how I'm tracking the current map. Game dots. It's just game.map. Okay, game.map.units dot player one. And eventually I'll probably replace these just bare structs with some object initializer, but again, don't care right now. We drew some weird X. I don't know what that was. We drew some weird X at some weird position. So we're iterating over game.map.units, player one. Oh, yeah, okay, and right. For whatever head-ass reason, Lua is indexed by 1. That has been confusing me since I started this, because that's the only language I've ever seen that way. Okay, that's what we wanted to see, I think. Right? Did we only have one unit? Yeah, we did. So let's put this guy at, let's put in 2 more. Put him at 16, 16, and 24, 24, and we should have a diagonal of units. Yeah, let's just do that. Did I not save that or something? That's weird. That doesn't make much sense to me. Oh yeah, it does. I edited the wrong map. Okay. And that's a good reason right there to break those things out. Okay, great. So we're now able to initialize units, and I guess just for the sake of some kind of completion here, let's do the player 2 units also. What sprite is this? Sprite 21. And I guess let's make player 1 blue and player 2 red. And I don't know, who cares? We'll put these guys at 26 and 8. And again, that all looks, you know, like gross, clutched together garbage, but it is, and we'll do it properly some other time. So we have our 3 blue units now, and we should have a red unit hanging out over here, and we do. Cool, okay. Great, actually. I guess just for fun, let's put in some guys up here too. So on map 2, let's say, so we want, wait. Oh, I see. Let's put player 2 up north and player 1 at 330. And the multiplication there is just to convert from cells to pixels, and again we'll be more sensible about that in the future. We just don't care right now. So that should give us a row of good guy units in the south and a diagonal of bad guy units in the north. Kind of missed. I missed. Column of good guy units, not a row. On map 3, we don't need to do this. We get the point now, but this appears to work, so that's what matters. Okay, that's pretty cool. It actually went fairly well. So we have a concept of units in place now, and we are initializing each map with player and CPU units. So now we have to move units from spot to spot. And then animate the movements. let's commit what we've done here before we get ahead of ourselves. Oh, let's close all this. Take a look at our diff. Okay, our formatter inlined all that. Looks like garbage, but again, we don't care. Okay. Kind of a short stream, but I might call it there for the night, because I would kind of like to think a little while before jumping right into this, because I think there is probably some nuance in how we handle moving units, because we're going to want to do this in a simple way that is efficient to look up unit positions, both when you as a player are doing the pointy clicky thing with the cursor, and also further down the line when we do have a CPU second player opponent. We want to be able to read the unit positions in an efficient way. You know, whereby the least efficient way obviously is iterate over each cell in the map to find them. And maybe the obvious thing to do is just, I guess, track. There's already a mechanism in place that assigns a unique ID to each cell. So maybe a unit, I might look up units by cell and sort the coordinates or something, but I don't know. Before I do that, I think we probably also want to move away from using this flimsy coordinate only representation of a unit and implement proper constructors and such, and also store more meaningful gameplay information within the unit objects, like their range, their defense, their attack, their hit points, whatever we decide we want. And that entails writing some proper unit classes and constructors, and then ripping out our stand-in coordinate placeholders and actually initializing real units and dropping them in. But again, I'm new to Lewis. I'm gonna have to read a little bit in a book here to learn what those patterns look like, those idioms look like. So I think I'll call it there. But in just an hour, we actually made pretty reasonable progress here. I'm happy with this. So thanks everyone. I'll see you again soon.